All right, what's happening, guys? We are in Martinez today. So we are checking out a full regulation size bocce ball court. We're in the, obviously the base stages of this installation. There's gonna be 5 to 6 yards of base material that we're bringing in. You can probably see when we spin the camera around, the toughest part of this job, but beyond the standard removal, is literally humping all of this base in. These guys are working their tail off. It's going to be super hot today, 90 degrees. So we got them extra water and taking care of them on that side. But this was a oyster, a traditional bocce ball court that was oyster, and it's been here for I think 3 to 4 years, 3 to 5 years, something like that. The family here is, this is a big compound, and there's a huge family that gets together every year here, and they just wanted to be able to use their bocce ball court. And they reached out to Emily Greens to sort of redo it, get it back to its level shape. And we're bringing in turf. We're going to use oyster shell turf. And then I missed a little bit of this. They're going to redo this after the base is laid in there. This machine right here connects with another pole, which you can kind of see here. And then we're going to go ahead and set up the level. So as you might imagine, if you don't have a level bocce ball court, balls can veer off to the left or veer off to the right. And now it's time to take a look at the measurements. Make sure that the balance is straight. Continue to even out the base material. Before they're compacting, they're just going to set a string line to make sure that the general base is in place and ready for compaction rather than having any big crowns or any uneven areas. So that's what these guys are doing before the compacting's done. And he's running the string so that they could run to the other side and set the level. We'll just watch these guys step through this. And he's going to drop the string, put it on the same level mark. And I don't think there's a piece of, there's video here. Yeah, so they've compacted now. This is time to check the balance. Roll from the left, roll to the right, and the compacting's been completed. So if there's any areas that need to be reset, they'll jump on that, and it's time to start rolling from one end to the other. Got to test a few, go off to the other side, and of course might as well go check it out with a few more throws. And we're gonna set the, I forget what they call that little guy, the bocce guy that they all chase, but anyway, he's doing a bounce off the side, see what happens, and a straight down the middle. Of course, nice and flat, good roll. And I think one more, just for good measure. And yeah, looking pretty straight. I think it's time to get this turf rolled out. So these rolls can weigh as much as 1,200 pounds. So manhandling these can be a challenge. These guys have obviously, this isn't their first time, so they've got their carpet rollers here. But they also have a great advantage of having a nice, beautiful, long driveway. That's not always the case. And what they need to do when that's the option is they actually roll it out in the street. A couple things are happening with this, by the way. If this was just a regular turf job, they would still be rolling this turf out in a similar fashion. And the reason for that is to get the turf unrolled and get it as straight as, you know, out of being so flat. They might even treat the turf before they make the cuts if this was a regular install. But the sun is going to heat this material up and make it easier to deal with. Especially in colder climates, turf needs to be out in the sun. And so now turf's out, time for some measurements. And the right-hand side is what they're setting because they're gonna cut the left-hand side and bring in the turf as one full piece. As you can see here, it's time to carry this bad boy. And it's probably still, I would venture to say, 900 pounds or so. So it's still pretty heavy. Whoops. Hey, check out that plant. Let's fix that. So they took care of that. Now it's time to bring it right into place. Big heave ho. boom, bringing it right into place. I think this drone's gonna hit a tree, as I recall. It's coming over to the other side, and you can kind of get a good look at how big this yard is. And nice little set, and then it's time to grab those clamps and bring this entire material across so that they can just drop it in. And then what you'll see here in a few more minutes is just the details of getting this turf perfectly set in before they make the final cuts on the one side, which would be, depending on which way you're looking, right or the left side. They'll bring the cut edge tight and then start with the finish work on both ends, and you'll see them do that with a couple of different steps here coming up as they drop this turf into the sides. Pulling as tight as they can on the ends and dropping this edge, as I mentioned a moment ago, getting things pulled. Now it's time for the finish work. And they're basically saying we need to bring this in a little bit tighter. And the amount of hand craftsmanship that goes into the jobs, you know, this bocce court is a great example, but the way that these guys work is really tremendous. Lots of respect for the guys that do all this stuff. And some more finish work. And you're gonna see the guys in the back there, they just set a nail so that they can keep this side tight. And now they're going to do whatever they can to keep the wrinkle or any pull from happening, which is another reason they wanted to have the turf nice and warm so that they can bring it in and staple it down and get it set. What happens with turf over the period of the cooling up or the cooling down, this doesn't get a lot of direct sunlight, so it won't be as dramatic, but turf in general, when it's out in the sun, what ends up happening is it heats up, it expands, and then it cools down, which is why you need infill to weigh it down and why you need edge tack down, landscape staples, nails in some cases, to keep it from wrinkling. And there you have it. There is a finished bocce ball court out in Martinez. Thanks a lot for taking the time to check out Heavenly Greens, and we appreciate you looking at the video.